Hello, everybody. I am Sun Psychic Jean, and please welcome back to episode 4 of Answering Your Spiritual Questions with My Pendulum. So, I have been so very fortunate, and I'm very grateful for everyone who is submitting their questions. And I would like to begin with just introducing you to, once again, this is my traveling pendulum, but I did hear back from a couple of you who said it was a little bit hard to see. So we'll try and use this one here and see if it's a little easier to see. Also, I just wanted to let you know that if I have a yes with my pendulum, it will swing north and south, just like it is now. And if I were to ask my pendulum if I was 7 feet tall, do you see how it changed right away to east and west? And what this is a yes and no for me. Now, earlier in my career, when I was doing a lot of um, healing, energy healings, I would check chakras. And when I checked the chakras, it would go in a concentric circle, either clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on the strength of the chakra. So for a long time, my yes was clockwise, my no was counterclockwise. But as I developed and began using it in many different ways, it did change because I would say, I would calibrate it. I would say, is now a good time for me to ask questions? And, obviously we are in control of our own energy. And, but it's always nice just to get a confirmation. So that's my yes. And I would always say, is my first name Jean? And there's my yes. And then I would say, am I 7 feet tall? And there's my no. Now, I did this for quite a while, and I would call it like calibrating my pendulum, especially if I hadn't used it in a while. And it would show me, um, it would show me whether it was ready and if it was working correctly. So if I said, "Show me yes," is my first name Jean, and it went in a circle, then it's changing. And this is what happened when I kept asking it from the when I was doing energy healing over to just asking the questions. And I'm not really sure why or how it changes. And I do understand that these messages, the messages that are coming through my pendulum, comes directly from my spirit guides. What it is, it allows me, it's a tool that allows me to step outside of my ego. So my ego would be my influence, my hopes, my dreams, my pre pre my thoughts about the question before it I get an answer to it. Your ego has a mind of its own, so to speak. And I would like for my ego to step aside and have only my spirit guides come through. So when I use this pendulum, it allows me to do that, and allows me to remove my thinking mind. And what this does is the creative uh, spiritual connection, imagination comes straight through here to my hand and from my spirit guides. And I'm confident in this because I've been using it for 20 years, and I use it all the time. I use it for everything. And it's really been a source it gives me peace of mind, if nothing else. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with the first question. And look what the first question is. Do all pendulums respond for you the same way? I mean, are all yeses north and south, and do all no's east and west for pendulums? And this question comes from Diane G. Thank you, Diane, for submitting your question. So I'm going to ask the pendulum. Do all pendulums respond the same way? Do all pendulums have a north and south for yes, or all pendulums? Yeah, it's going in a circle. So it's it's neither yes nor no. And I think that it depends on the individual. It depends on the person. It depends on how they calibrate their own pendulum, how they used it, how they were taught by using it. And if you practice with a certain technique, it's usually the ones that the guides know that you like to use. So it doesn't mean that it won't change through the process. Um, okay, so do all yeses for all pendulums, for all uh, readers or practitioners, do all yeses and nos go north and south? Now, I don't know if you guys can see this. Uh, do all yeses go north and south? So I don't know if you can see this. It's really hard for you to see. But what happens is my pendulum is like vibrating. It's vibrating at a subtle rate, but it is the energy is working through it. And I love when it vibrates. And I call it it's thinking, but I feel like it's picking up the information. It's going out there to retrieve the information to bring it back. Um, are all pendulums, when they want to say yes, do all pendulums go north and south? So it's neither yes or no. So it's going in a circle again. So that is free will, that is unknown, that is too broad of a question, and it's neither yes or no. And do all no's on pendulums, with all practitioners, does no always mean east and west? Now it's saying no. No, not all no's are east and west, but that could be confusing it. But isn't that funny? And I thought I needed to clarify this. I needed to explain it again and show you again. And you can see I'm using my travel pendulum just because it's a little bit easier to see. It's a little bit larger. This is my, ooh, this is my usual pendulum. And this is just a little dark and a bit small for you guys to see, I think. But this is the one I use all the time. Okay, so I just wanted to thank Diane G. Let me see what else I can find for a question for you. Do the there's some maps, I think they call them, like it says yes, no, or it says before or after, or sun and moon, or something. Like it has all these different things printed on the map. And some people create their own maps. And do maps work with pendulums? Like not just me asking the pendulum, but having the pendulum over top of a map or over top of a grid or a board, does that work with pendulums? So it's saying yes, that does work with the pendulums. And I'm probably not calling it the right thing. Let me see if I can show. So I have a map here that I just want, actually, I called it a map. It's called a chart. So I just wanted to show you a quick little example of a chart. So this would be a chart that you would hang your pendulum over. And these things you can assign values. These you can assign numbers or, months of the year or anything that you want. And obviously the alphabet. So some people use their pendulums with a chart like this. Okay. So, let me see what else we can ask for Diane. Do pendulums work with charts? Do pendulums work with charts? Yes. Do pendulums always work with charts? It's sort of going in a circle and sort of no. But it depends on the practitioner. It depends on your experience and how much you've used them. Um, is a pendulum a reliable source of divination? Is a pendulum a reliable source of divination? Yes. Okay, thank you. So that's a yes. So is it my spirit guides that are talking to me through this pendulum? Is it spirit guides that are talking to me through this pendulum? It's saying yes. Thank you very much. Very strong yes. Is it my angels talking to me through this pendulum? Are my angels wait, let me make sure it gets to a stopping point. Are my angels talking to me through this pendulum? Are angels talking to me through this pendulum? And that's a yes. So are my are my deceased loved ones talking to me through this pendulum? Are my deceased loved ones talking to me through this pendulum? No. And can anybody's deceased loved one talk to me through this pendulum? No, because it's not what I set up and it's not what I allow. I have loved ones come in only when they're called and only in a certain manner. So if I were to, I could say, like, my father is passed. So is my father in spirit around me right now? Is my father who is in spirit around me right now? So the pendulum would be able to pick up on the energies. It would be able to pick up, is my father who is around me right now, is he, is he around? I don't know what to ask. Is he sending my family good wishes? Is he sending my family good wishes? And that would be yes. You could ask things like that. So I think that's it. I want to go ahead and make this just a short one. And thank you very much to Diane G for asking your question. And if you would like your question answered by my pendulum, please do. You can leave a question below underneath this video or in my community tab. And just if you would like me to mention your name, like Diane G, you can just add it in the question because in on YouTube you can't see it. Well, actually, you can see it, but sometimes it's numbers and letters and it's not very clear. And this way, it tells me that you give me permission to say your name, and that would be lovely. And this is on YouTube is where I take all of the questions. And under these videos, I get an email whenever somebody leaves a question. So thank you very much and have a wonderful evening. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.